Greetings, hello, welcome on in. Unoptimized Fool here with another weekly update to World of Warcraft, right? A lot of things have happened. Again, nothing too crazy, but we definitely have some interesting things to talk about. Now, two things before we dive into it today. I'm in a different location as per each week, right? Now, again, this is a little bit of a competition. You kind of have to guess where I'm at, and if you guess it, you win something. Now that something might be a shout out, right? Nothing too crazy, right? But this location, by the way, a little bit of a hint though, right, is going to be located on Azeroth. Okay, don't be looking at any expansions off of Azeroth, right? No Shadowlands content here. This is on Azeroth, okay? That's your only hint. Now again, this competition goes for a whole week. Now obviously the winner will be whoever can give me the most details, right? Again, who can be first and give me the most details, right? Give me location. Give me a screenshot of you actually going to that location, right? Any detail you can give me is going to be a lot better than just a general area, right? So definitely think hard for this one. Again, some of you probably already know what this is. Hopefully, this one's a little bit easier, honestly. And then two, for the last one, is the Spotters Guild. Spotters Guild is pumping away. We just had a record-breaking guild run just this Saturday. We've cleared all of normal and got the first boss on heroic killed yet again. We actually had some attempts on the second boss, the cauldron, right? The monkey and the dinosaur. But unfortunately, we wiped a couple. But we didn't really do that much on it. But we progressed a little bit further, though. So definitely think about joining. If you like raiding, we have raiding. If you like Mythic Plus, we run Mythic Plus mostly every night. And also, too, if you want to bring something extra to the guild, definitely check it out, too. Again, it's going to be fun. It's called the Spotters. Join up now. If you want more information, definitely let me know in the comments. But until then, right, hopefully I'll get to see you. And then we got a lot of news to talk about today, so let's get right into it. All right, guys, 11.1.5 is our current patch that we're in, right? We've been diving with the Nightfall, having some fun with that. The XP event is now officially ending today. And also, today, Horrific Visions come out. And then eventually we'll have the S2E duos, right? Lots of content. But 11.1.5 has been kind of buggy and kind of a lot of people are calling it lame, but there's a lot of content though. But why are we talking about it? There was a recent interview with Ian talking about kind of the failures of 11.1.5 and how they're going to expand further. Now, obviously, this type of communication is very important, right? Obviously, you want to see this type of conversation with the game director Ian and the players, right? Again, just if they're messing up, we want to know. Obviously, we knew they messed up, but it's good to know that they knew they messed up, right? Sometimes Blizzard's like, I didn't do anything wrong, guys. Now, what am I talking about? At the beginning of 11, patch 11.1.5, there's so many numbers, my brain hurts, right? The Nightfall campaign suffered a lot of issues, right? Some of it not even triggering the event, some of the reputation not even tracking. There was some issues, and again, some people even don't even like the time staggered content, right? Again, Horrific Visions are dropping today, even though it was promised in 11.1.5, which is technically true. Now, Ian talked about that and said that eventually, hopefully, they can, have these major bugs be the thing of the past, and they are looking at time-gated content. Now, I have to agree, obviously, it's very buggy, right? And I like to give my opinion about stuff. I honestly think the time-gated content was needed, but imagine this, right? You log into WoW, you have Dastry duos, you have Horrific Visions and the Nightfall campaign and the XP event all to do at the same day and like all the time. That's still a bit overwhelming, honestly. Not gonna lie. Now, some people will argue that it's not, but I think it is. But I do agree that maybe the time-gated content should be closer together instead of being at I think, a month that we've had this content be out. Now, instead of being a month, maybe it's 2 weeks, right? So it's still a little bit closer, but we have time to digest the current content. Or maybe just not load up the patch with all this content. I mean, am I complaining about too much content right now? Sometimes, if I look back at my Shadowlands I would be complaining about wanting more content. Now I'm complaining about a lot of content. Things change all the time, right? But again, Ian had a nice interview. Definitely check out the interview. Again, it's good that Blizzard's communicating that they know that they messed up. And it's very important, it's a step in the right direction, that Blizzard is publicly saying, yeah, we messed up. Here's how we can fix this in the future. So I think this is important. We have old Blizzard back. Hopefully we get to keep old Blizzard for at least 6 more years, right? And then they'll go back to their secret scheming behind the scenes. I can't wait for housing, okay? I am so excited for housing. Now, something cool happened during PAX East. Obviously, we talked about what happened and the announcements at PAX East, but they also had, obviously, content creators go to all these events, right? And obviously, Blizzard has their content creators that play the game. They actually invited a bunch of content creators to go in and test out their housing, right? And what's cool about this, now again, we don't have any footage. This was all behind closed doors, NDAs, but we have a bunch of videos, posts, information coming out, interviews about these YouTubers, streamers reacting to what they saw, right? Now, there are actually some new pictures, right, you'll be seeing over here, right? Again, we saw actually outdoor stuff. And by the way, guys, this outdoor content right here, there's people all run around. Now, is that just supposed to be humans, or is there going to be NPCs in these neighborhoods? Because remember, around 50 plots of land, aka 50 players, are in each neighborhood, right? Again, there's going to be many instances of neighborhoods, both private and public. So it makes me wonder, are there going to be NPCs running around? Again, it honestly gives us more questions than answers, but still pretty cool to see these screenshots. Now, obviously, no footage. They're all under NDA, but a lot of content creators, I haven't seen one negative post about this. I'll say that this is a fantastic system, that it exceeds expectations. Now, the biggest turn away about this is Preach. Now, Preach has been very much, I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to go the Blizzard's defense on anything. I'm going to tell you how it is. And he's ripped on World of Warcraft in the past, and he's also said good things about WoW. And what he said about housing is that this is the best thing that's ever come to MMOs in the sense of housing, and it blows everything else away, right? So for him to say that, that's amazing. Now, obviously, again, no gameplay footage. It is sad to see, but hopefully, eventually, we can see some gameplay. I mean, I'm thinking we're going to see gameplay. Now, Blizzard even said in one of the content creators that they want them to find the problems, which is a good sign. It's a good green flag, meaning that the developers want to find the problems. They want to fix the problems. And I think we're back to old Blizzard. I said this before in this video, and I'm going to say it again. Old Blizzard is really good at taking used mechanics that's in other games and perfecting it and making it their own and making it even better. And we've seen this countless times, especially with the newest iteration, which is dragon flying, right? They took that awesome system and made it their own, and honestly a lot better than its counterparts in other games. So now with housing, we're hearing some really positive stuff. And again, some of these content creators, sure, could be, our fanboys and fangirls, but some of these guys are really opinionated, like me, right? And they're giving all praise. I think we are in for an amazing system. And again, also, we might be seeing people who just play the housing. That's it. And I think that's really cool. Because, I mean, again, guys, there's some people who just like raiding, who like Mythic Plus, who just like transmog runs, who just go around playing alts, right? That's the only content they absorb. And then now, potentially, there could just be people diving into housing. So this is going to be fun. I'm very much looking forward to housing, and I really want to see some gameplay here soon. Alright guys, now obviously, as you know, the Turbo event is a week old inside of Season 2. Now what is the Turbo event? Just to fill you in, that means that there's no caps on crests, right? Now obviously there's a couple other things, but that's in the last video. Now, why I'm mentioning this is, again, you can farm as many crests as you want. Now, as you guys know, again, this is an older system, it's nothing new, but I want to mention it, that you can upgrade your crests. Now, obviously, as you progress through the tracks, the Veteran, Champion, Adventurer, right, go into Hero, and then Myth track items, eventually some of the crests that are lower, you won't use anymore, and you can actually take like 60 of them and turn them into 15 of the higher currency. Now, before, the reason why I'm mentioning this now, because you're probably like, well, this is an old system, why are we talking about now? Before, you had the cat crest, right? And you would have to adhere to the, cat crest when upgrading these things. So you couldn't upgrade all of them. You would have to wait each week, and there would be a slow process, to the point where they were just adding up over time. But now you can upgrade all of them up to basically the highest tier that you want to, that you're upgrading it. Either Hero track or Myth track. Again, you can have unlimited access, so you can just go spam, 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 and just take all of those weathered crests and turn them into gilded. So I just wanted to mention that, again, not many people, obviously, they know what this system is, but I just wanted to mention that you can just do this unlimited now. Obviously, you were limited before, but since the Turbo event, you can now just upgrade everything. So now those lower tier tokens aren't just sitting there collecting dust. Alright guys, I'm going to have to do it to you. The weekly yap about the renowned system inside the raid. Now again, we are now on rank 12. Technically when this video comes out, rank 13 is coming, but this past week we saw rank 12 come out, and it's the hot sauce buff. Now again, this gets applied to you automatically, and it gives you a very low chance to do extra fire damage to any enemy inside of the raid, and that benefit increases based off of any flash you have, any potions that you're currently using. Now again, this is technically a damage increase, but it's not a big upgrade. Now, they did some numbers crunching, and obviously it does proc, right? So you're not just doing this constantly, but when it procs and does high enough damage, it's about 13,000 more damage that you're normally doing at that time with this buff. Now 13,000 damage is nothing compared to what we're doing inside the DPS. This is definitely less than 1% damage increase, but guys, it adds up. Again, damage does add up. We've all been there. We've had a 1% or even a 0% wipe where it's under 1%. We've all been there. And this type of damage buff, again, be it so small, could push you over that. Obviously, we want to make sure we have clean kills, right? The 0% failures are always, it always stinks to do, but again, we always want perfect pulls. But if we can't get a perfect pull, at least we can edge those extra HP off the boss with these buffs, right? So again, this is the hot sauce boss. It should be available as long as you're doing the stuff inside the raid. Again, by the way, just killing raid bosses and participating in the raid will give you the a rank per week. Now, if you're behind, if you're not ranked 12 currently, because this video does come live before the servers, you have a catch-up mechanic that you can do. Just kill the bosses every week. Sometimes, we do that inside the raid for the spotters. Definitely check it out. Some weeks you get cosmetic items from this renowned track. Sometimes you get 3% buffs to damage and healing. Those are the big ones. Or some cool cosmetic, stuff that you can buy, or some, tokens you can turn in for some cosmetic items. Again, most of it's mostly cosmetic, but some of it really has some damage output. And again, hot sauce, it doesn't add too much, but hey, every point of damage does help for sure. Alright guys, the last article I want to talk about today also has to do with the turbo event that went live last week. Now, with this system, we saw Valorstones were able to be transferred via the warband system, meaning that you can send Valorstones to your alts for a small fee. That's actually what I want to talk about today, the small fee that comes with this. Now, the article that I read said that every time you transfer the Valorstones over to an alt, there's a 25% fee. It takes 25% of your Valorstones when doing this transaction. However, in game, it's only 20%. Right, so there's some weird information, but obviously we're going to believe the in-game stuff. So it is 20%. I've seen 25, but in-game it's 20%. I'm not sure if that's a bug or that was the intended result, but it's still going to be around 20 to 25% taken from you. So if you send 100, they'll take 20 from you. So obviously you can't just send 2,000, expect 2,000 from the alt. Obviously Blizzard's going to take them. They're taxing us, guys. Now, is this system right? I mean, obviously they guess they could tax us on this. I mean, this is kind of a tax, to be fair, but 20% seems kind of high. I wish it was a little bit lower. I mean, maybe this is just incentivized playing on your alts a little bit more. Again, it's only 20%, so, but I just want to mention this because obviously it does tell you how many Valorstones will get to your alt. Like, it does the math for you. So if it's not like an even number, like an easy number to divide by 20%, then at least it tells you. So keep an eye on that, obviously. But I just wanted to send this message out for the people who are like, I thought I sent 2,000 Valorstones over. Why did I only get this amount? So that's why there is a tax on it. Again, feels bad. We live in capitalism, right? But yeah, it's around 20%. Again, not sure if that's a mistake, because in the normal data binding we saw 25%, so maybe we're missing a 5% there, but I'll take a lower number, honestly, because I wish it was 0, to be fair. Alright guys, that is it for all the news. Again, not a really busy week. Usually when we have a huge week, we have a bunch of smaller weeks after that, just with information trickling in, and obviously we can't compete with every big week, right? There's not so much news. Obviously we're getting more and more information about 11.1.7 here in the future. Again, I'll cover everything that's important. Now obviously guys, if you see anything that I didn't cover that you think was important, definitely let me know in the comments. I'll add it to the show next week, as well as we have the location here for you to guess. This is a little bit of a different angle to give you a little bit more of a hint. Again, it's still on Azeroth, so don't leave looking on the Outland or in Shadowlands, right? So definitely check this out. Now, obviously, guys, I am Unoptimized Fool. I do daily content on my X page and my YouTube page, so definitely check me out. If you like World of Warcraft and want to get daily updates to all your special things, sometimes I take articles that I cover here and go into even more detail, about 5 to 6 minute videos, so definitely check it out. But again, I love World of Warcraft. Thank you for watching. I am Unoptimized Fool. I'll see you guys next week.